Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive with me and our expert.
Bye, everyone.
Today we're going microscopic.
Yeah.
We're taking a look at amino acids. You know those tiny building blocks of life?
Absolutely.
We'll be unpacking an article titled, Amazing Power of Amino Acids.
Great article.
And get this, back in the 1800s,
Way back.
protein was being recognized as the most important substance in the organic kingdom.
Wow.
They were even saying that without protein, no life would be possible on our planet.
It's true.
So we're going to be exploring just how important amino acids are to our health and well-being.
And some surprising things, too.
So let's start with some basics. I always like to picture proteins as these intricate Lego structures with amino acids as the individual bricks.
That's a great analogy.
Is that a reasonable way to think about it?
Yeah, I think so. Just like with Legos, proteins are large, complex molecules made up of simpler units.
Right.
Amino acids.
And just like you need different Lego bricks to build different structures, our bodies need a variety of amino acids to create all the different proteins we need.
So to build these protein Lego masterpieces,
I like that.
we need to break down the protein we eat into those individual amino acid pieces, right?
Right. Think of it like this. When you eat a steak or a handful of almonds,
Okay.
your digestive system acts like a skilled Lego builder, carefully disassembling those structures into the individual amino acids. Then, those amino acid building blocks are absorbed into your bloodstream and transported to different parts of your body where they're used to build new proteins.
So it's a constant cycle of breaking down and rebuilding.
Exactly.
All orchestrated by these amino acids.
It's pretty amazing.
I know there are different types of amino acids,
Yeah.
around 22 in total.
About that, yeah.
Can you remind us about the difference between essential and non-essential amino acids?
Absolutely. Imagine you're baking a cake.
Uh.
You've got your essential ingredients. Flour, eggs, sugar, things you absolutely need to have.
The must-haves.
Exactly. Then there are optional ingredients, like sprinkles or frosting, that add some flair but aren't essential to the cake's structure.
Okay.
Essential amino acids are like those core ingredients. Your body can't make them on its own and needs to get them from your diet.
And non-essential amino acids are like sprinkles. Nice to have, but not a deal breaker.
Precisely. Our bodies can synthesize those non-essential amino acids if needed, but we need to get those essential 9 from our food.
9 essential ones.
Yes. They are histidine, isoleucine, leucine, lysine, methionine, phenylalanine, threonine, tryptophan, and valine.
Okay, so 9 essential amino acids that we need to get from our food.
That's right.
And this is where it gets really interesting for me. The article suggests that amino acids do a whole lot more than just build and repair tissues.
Yeah, you're right. What's really fascinating is that amino acids are involved in so many bodily functions.
Oh.
They act as precursors to neurotransmitters.
Neurotransmitters.
Meaning they're involved in creating brain chemicals that affect things like mood and sleep. They support detoxification pathways, helping your body eliminate waste products. And some even influence gene expression, literally turning genes on or off.
That's incredible. They're like tiny molecular multitaskers.
I like that. I might steal that.
The article specifically highlights tryptophan as a star player in research.
It's true.
Could you tell us a little more about that?
Well, tryptophan is particularly interesting because it's a precursor to serotonin.
Serotonin.
Now, serotonin is a neurotransmitter that plays a crucial role in mood regulation, sleep cycles, and even appetite control.
So is that why people always say that turkey makes you sleepy?
It's a common belief, and turkey does contain tryptophan.
Right.
However, the sleepiness we feel after a big meal is probably due to a combination of factors, including the volume of food and the carbohydrates.
So no Thanksgiving miracle cure.
Not exactly, but tryptophan can have a calming effect and is being studied for its potential to manage insomnia.
Okay, interesting. What about methionine?
Methionine.
The article mentions it being good for our hearts.
Right, methionine is involved in fat metabolism and helps break down cholesterol, which is good for cardiovascular health.
So it's like a cholesterol buster.
You could say that.
But the article also mentions it being found in hemoglobin, the pancreas, lymph, and spleen.
Right.
Why is it so widespread in the body?
Well, that just shows how versatile it is.
Okay.
For instance, its presence in hemoglobin,
Wow.
a protein that carries oxygen in our blood, shows how crucial it is for delivering oxygen throughout the body.
So it's not just about keeping our hearts healthy, it's involved in a bunch of different bodily functions.
Exactly.
What happens if we don't get enough methionine?
A deficiency in methionine can lead to a variety of health problems, including fatty liver disease, slowed growth, and even neurological issues.
Oh, wow.
Interestingly, researchers are also investigating its potential role in tumor research.
That's interesting.
Hmm.
Moving on to lysine.
Okay.
This one seems like a real superhero when it comes to our immune system,
It does.
especially its ability to fight off viruses.
You're right. Lysine has shown some impressive antiviral properties.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be particularly effective against the herpes simplex virus, the one that causes cold sores.
Oh, yeah.
And it even works better when paired with vitamin C.
So they're like the dynamic duo of immune support.
Exactly.
The article also mentioned lysine being studied for managing herpes outbreaks. What's the latest on that?
There have been studies suggesting that lysine could be helpful for managing herpes outbreaks.
Okay.
But we need more research to confirm its efficacy and safety for sure.
Makes sense. On to the next one, phenylalanine.
Okay.
This one caught my eye because it's apparently linked to weight control and our thyroids.
It is. Phenylalanine is involved in thyroid hormone production, which plays a critical role in regulating metabolism and, consequently, weight.
So if someone is feeling sluggish and lacking motivation, could phenylalanine be helpful?
It's possible, but it's important to remember that individual responses to amino acids can vary. It's always best to consult with a healthcare professional before making significant dietary changes.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's move on to tyrosine, which the article calls the anti-stress amino acid.
Right.
In today's world, I think we could all use a little less stress.
Definitely.
How does tyrosine help with that?
Tyrosine, like phenylalanine, is a precursor to dopamine and norepinephrine.
Uh-huh.
Those are key neurotransmitters involved in mood regulation and your body's response to stress.
So when we're stressed, our bodies deplete these neurotransmitters.
Yes.
And tyrosine can help replenish them.
That's the idea.
Okay.
Some studies have shown that tyrosine supplementation might be beneficial for individuals experiencing chronic stress or even depression.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about glutamine,
Glutamine.
which the article refers to as the sobriety nutrient.
That's an interesting one.
What's the connection between glutamine and alcohol craving?
Glutamine is actually the most abundant amino acid in our bodies.
Oh, wow.
And it's involved in so many functions, including immune function, gut health, and even brain function.
So how does that relate to sobriety?
Well, some research suggests that glutamine might help reduce cravings for alcohol, which could make it a potential tool in managing alcoholism.
That's pretty remarkable. Okay, the last one on our list is cysteine.
Cysteine.
What's the deal with this one?
Cysteine is a component of glutathione,
Glutathione.
which is a powerful antioxidant that helps protect our cells from damage.
Antioxidants are the good guys, right?
Yes, they protect our cells.
What else does cysteine do?
Some research suggests that cysteine might influence insulin sensitivity and fat metabolism, potentially playing a role in managing obesity.
Oh.
It's also being investigated for its potential anti-cancer and anti-aging properties.
Wow, so cysteine is potentially involved in everything from weight management to aging.
It's a busy one.
So after hearing all this, it sounds like getting enough of these essential amino acids is really crucial for our overall health and well-being.
It really is.
What happens if we don't get enough?
A lack of essential amino acids can lead to a cascade of problems.
Like?
We're talking stunted growth, poor muscle tone, slow wound healing.
Oh, no.
It's like your body's construction crew doesn't have the right materials to do its job effectively.
And that weakened immunity you mentioned is a big concern.
For sure.
Nobody wants to be more susceptible to getting sick.
Nobody.
So how do we make sure we're getting enough of these essential amino acids?
Well, that's a great question and one we'll dive into after a short break.
Sounds good. So before the break, you were going to tell us how we can make sure we're getting enough of these essential amino acids through our diet.
Well, the key is a balanced diet, rich in complete proteins.
Okay, complete proteins. Are those like a protein supergroup?
Uh-huh, kind of.
Hmm.
Complete proteins are foods that contain all 9 of the essential amino acids
All 9.
in the proportions that our bodies need.
Okay.
Good examples would be animal sources like meat, poultry, fish, eggs, and dairy products.
So what about for those of us who don't eat a lot of meat, or any meat at all? Are there good plant-based options for complete proteins?
Oh, absolutely. You'll find plenty of plant-based options out there. You might need to combine different plant sources.
Combine them.
Yeah, just to make sure you're getting all 9 of those essential amino acids. Quinoa, buckwheat, and soy are excellent examples of plant-based complete proteins.
Okay.
And combining things like beans and rice or lentils with whole grains can also give you a complete amino acid profile.
So mixing and matching is key for plant-based eaters.
That's right.
I wanted to circle back to something that really stood out to me in the article.
Okay.
The idea of amino acids as medical foods.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
It sounds incredibly futuristic to me.
Well, it's a fascinating area of research.
Yeah.
It's basically looking at how we can use certain amino acids for therapeutic purposes to address specific health conditions.
We've talked about how tryptophan may help with insomnia,
Uh-huh.
and lysine seems to have those antiviral properties. What about methionine? The article mentioned that researchers are looking into its role in tumor research.
Right.
Do you think that someday amino acids could be used to help prevent or even treat cancer?
Well, it's still pretty early in the research,
Right.
but there's a lot of interest in how amino acids may play a role in cancer development and treatment.
Uh-huh.
Some studies suggest that certain amino acids may help slow tumor growth or make chemotherapy more effective. But it's important to remember this is a very active area of research, and we need more studies to understand the potential benefits and risks involved.
So it sounds like a promising field.
Yeah, very promising.
We just need more data.
Exactly.
You mentioned earlier that this research goes beyond just physical health, right?
Right.
What about using amino acids to address mental health?
Yeah, that's another area of growing interest.
Okay.
Remember we discussed how tyrosine is a precursor to dopamine and norepinephrine, which are neurotransmitters involved in mood regulation and stress response.
Right.
Well, researchers are looking into whether amino acids, like tyrosine, could be helpful in managing conditions like anxiety, depression, and other mood disorders.
So someday, doctors might actually prescribe amino acids as part of a mental health treatment plan.
It's possible.
Wow, the possibilities are really exciting.
They are. It really highlights how connected our physical and mental health are,
Yeah.
and how these tiny molecules, amino acids, can impact our overall well-being. And, there's still so much more to learn.
I feel like we've only just scratched the surface here.
We have.
Before we wrap up, I wanted to touch on something we haven't talked about yet.
Okay.
The article focuses mainly on the essential amino acids, but what about those non-essential ones?
Yeah, good question.
Do those play a significant role in our health, or are they just kind of along for the ride?
Well, they may not be essential
Right.
in the sense that we have to get them from our diet,
Right.
but non-essential amino acids still play very important roles in a lot of different bodily functions.
Like what?
Well, things like detoxification, hormone production, and neurotransmitter synthesis.
So they're not just backup singers.
No.
They have their own solo parts in the symphony of our bodies.
Exactly. And just like with essential amino acids, if you have an imbalance or deficiency in any of the non-essential ones, that could also lead to some health problems.
So it sounds like we could do a whole other deep dive just on the non-essential amino acids.
We could.
Maybe we should add that to our list.
I'd be up for that.
So after all this talk about amino acids, what would you say is the biggest takeaway for our listeners?
Well, the main thing to remember is this. Amino acids are more than just building blocks for protein.
Right.
They're actually essential nutrients that play a vital role in a huge range of bodily functions. And they affect everything from our physical health to our mental well-being. It's important to make sure you're getting enough of those essential amino acids.
And whether you enjoy a nice juicy steak
Mm-hmm.
or a hearty lentil stew,
Right.
there are tons of delicious and nutritious options to make sure you're getting the amino acids that your body needs.
That's right.
It's all about finding a balanced diet that works for you. Well, I think it's safe to say that this deep dive has given us a new appreciation for those tiny but mighty amino acids.
It has.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's been a pleasure. Always happy to talk about this stuff.
And to our listeners, stay tuned for more deep dives into the world of health and wellness. We've learned so much about amino acids today,
We have.
from protein being the foundation of life to those tiny building blocks, the amino acids.
Yeah.
It's amazing how such tiny molecules can have such a huge impact on our health and well-being.
It's pretty incredible how they affect everything,
Everything.
from our energy levels
Uh,
to our mood,
right.
to our resilience to disease, and even aging.
This whole deep dive has given me a completely new perspective on nutrition.
In what way?
It's not about just counting calories or following the latest fad diet.
No.
It's about understanding how these nutrients are actually building and fueling our bodies at a molecular level.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important things to take away from today,
It is.
that nutrition is really a complex field.
Yeah.
And the more we learn about it, the more we're able to make better choices about our health.
Absolutely. It's not about obsessing over every gram of protein or every amino acid.
Right.
It's about understanding the bigger picture and how they all work together to support our bodies.
It's about balance,
Yeah.
making sure we're getting all of the essential nutrients through a varied diet.
And a balanced diet doesn't have to be boring.
Oh, definitely not.
No matter what you like to eat, whether you're a meat lover or a vegan, there are so many delicious and nutritious options out there.
I really are. From juicy steaks and salmon to tasty lentil stews and quinoa salads, you know?
All great ways to make sure you're getting those amino acids.
Right, your body needs them.
So, listener, we leave you with this thought.
Okay.
Are you getting enough of those essential amino acids?
Yeah, good question.
It might be time to look a little closer at your diet.
Uh-huh.
Make sure you're getting enough variety and balance.
Yeah.
Nourish yourself from the inside out.
And remember, the world of amino acids is always evolving. Who knows what amazing discoveries are waiting for us?
It's so true. Well, that's all the time we have for today.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of amino acids.
My pleasure.
Until next time, stay curious.
And keep learning.
We'll see you on our next deep dive.
Bye, everyone.
Bye!